What is going on, everybody? It is your favorite professor here, Z. I know that it has been a while since I've done one of these guide videos, but this is something that between the community, I guess, reaction to the update with now another essentially source of stats or another mechanic or just another, I guess, feature in the game. Now with the refinery. I've had a lot of messages already about people asking if I've had a chance to dabble with it, what my thoughts are on it, and such. I think that there's already a lot of videos out there on thoughts from the community and just like general guides and general overviews of it. However, I have had the opportunity to dive into it quite a bit, and I feel like I have a fairly good grasp on how you can utilize the refinery. Specifically, in this video, we will be talking about the auction house side of things, or yeah, just the auction house buying and selling side. Um, from my side of things, before I kind of go into this video, for one, if you want to skip ahead in the video, or if you are watching the whole video and you want to go back to any part of the video to rewatch a segment or catch up on something, as with the rest of my guide videos, just go down below to the description or a pinned comment, and in both of them you will find timestamps on this video, so you can skip to the parts where you want to essentially skip to or recap on. Right now you are in the intro part. And what I was going to get at is on the second part is that if you hear my voice and you're like, holy cow, Z, it sounds like you got punched in the nose or you have a really bad like sinus infection. I just had a few hours ago or earlier today a septoplasty and turbinate reduction surgery. So essentially, it's fixing or correcting a deviated septum, which I had a double deviation in my nose. So I just got out of surgery a few hours ago and on some pretty strong pain meds, and will be for the next little bit. So I'm kind of out of it, but at the same time, I also have stents in my nose and still kind of bleeding out of my nose and will be for the next few days. So kind of miserable, but I feel like with the amount of reaction around this, and then when I had the chance to log in, the amount of messages I got, I felt like it was appropriate to make this video. And really, for those that are both spending and for free-to-play players, I want to talk about how you can take advantage of items that you are crafting in order to sell them, and like what things to look for to get the most value out of the items that you're selling, and maybe not necessarily the most value, but to almost ensure that your items get sold and what stats people are looking for. And then also from the buying standpoint, whether you are a spender or if you are a free-to-play player that is, churning some gold from selling items that you're crafting, and you want to be able to make sure that the items that you're buying are optimizing and working for your account. We're going to be talking about both of those. So without further ado, let's dive right in. Like I said, we're not going to go too much into like the basics and such. A lot of that is kind of covered. You can go up here to the information tab on each of these, and be able to essentially get information on like what you need to find out about the buying and the selling side of the process. So why, or I guess like the first real question is like, how do I feel, or like how do I know that I kind of have a grasp on this? For one, I've been able to target now and get my infantry attack to almost 30%. Throughout this video, I'm actually going to go through an example scenario of how you too can mirror what it is that I'm doing. And I want to say, just first and foremost, it was extremely cheap to get to 30% attack, like far cheaper than with beasts or garage armaments, that kind of a thing. So very encouraging in that sense, and I think a good way for lower spenders and those that churn some gold from free to play that'll be selling stuff to be able to get some solid stat buffs out of this as well. So essentially, what should you be doing? Let's talk first and foremost about the buying process. What items should you be looking for when it comes to each of these? And like, how should you be targeting that? And what really should your thought process be there? So obviously, since I'm an infantry main character and account, for those that don't know, most do, I am primarily focusing on the infantry side first and foremost, obviously. Now, there's a few ways to approach this, and I think that where your bigger whales and the whales that will dominate or have the highest stats in this will come from will be those that are able to 3-stack on these gold items. Not necessarily the rolls themselves, but more so how many of these slots have an effective stat on it. So when you go to the auction house here, I think that this is one of the most important pieces, is being able to utilize this filter section here, because this filter section is going to be your make or break when it comes to finding the right items that's going to fit a build for you, right? So let's kind of go into an example scenario. So for me, with infantry, my armaments have high defense, have high block, that kind of a thing, but I'm kind of lackluster on the attack side of things. So what I decided to do was, well, I want to target infantry attack because I saw that that was one of the stats that you can get here. And you can see by when you go into the filtering under the basic attributes and the specialized attributes, you can target specific attributes that it is that you were chasing. Now, when it comes to the actual basic attributes, I would say that each of these are fairly evenly important. Less important for some, more important for others, depending on your role. So if you are on garrison, maybe it's good to have skill damage, and especially skill damage taken by troop. Basic attack damage reduction for reducing basic attacks you take from multi-rallies. Basic attack is great for your rallies or in the field. Counter damage would be great for your garrisons. Counter damage taken better for your rallies or in the field. So if you were a field player, for example, maybe you're targeting attack and your skill damage and maybe counter damage taken. Those might be your three main components. Maybe your second tier up maybe is a squad defense. Or sorry, squad basic attack damage would also be up there, but maybe tier 2, you're looking for a squad defense or a squad counter damage if you're being attacked, that kind of a thing. Same thing here. So I would say that like all of these are important, so it's totally fine to have all of these selected when you're looking for a specific piece. I would be looking for legendary because whether it's the way that the markets are right now, and who knows that that's going to stay the same, but at least at the very moment, prices really aren't that ridiculous. There's obviously some outliers and stuff, but it's honestly not too bad. But then this right here, these two pieces, the attribute grade and the specialized attributes, this is where you're going to want to primarily focus, specifically more so on the specialized attributes first and foremost. And the reason for that is that you're going to want to get pieces that I would ideally say have two of these stats that you are looking for, right? Now, let's just take my scenario, for example, where I am looking for infantry attack. I'd be looking for infantry and squad attack specifically on mine, right? Now, you can go into here if you are a rider main or a ranged main. Maybe you'll switch that up and have the, the ranged squad attack and the squad attack, that kind of a thing. It really just depends on what kind of stat it is that you are chasing. But for example and scenario's sake, of what I'm looking for, we'll go for infantry, squad attack, and squad attack. So what does this mean here? We are looking for any legendary piece. Any legendary piece. We want one of these basic attributes to be on the piece that we're looking for. And then, because we really want to stay away from like the zombie stuff and whatnot that I'm sure you've seen can roll there also. But then more so what we're looking for is that we're looking for one of these stats to roll. Ideally both. Or 2 out of the 3 slots having infantry squad attack and squad attack, or 2 infantry squad attacks or 2 squad attacks, that kind of a thing. And I'll show you what that looks like. And that's going to be kind of your first and foremost that you're chasing, right? Now, I know that this is a lot of information, but just kind of bear with me and you'll see why. So you'll go through here, and I would honestly just sort by price and just go through these. And it really doesn't matter if it's a green value, a blue value, and such. You may think that that's important right now, but honestly it isn't, and I'll show you why. And this is also why I'm making the video. But you'll go through here, and what you're looking for is you're looking for pieces that have 2 of the stats that it is you're looking for on each of those pieces, right? Infantry squad attack, infantry squad attack, squad attack, infantry squad attack, infantry squad attack, infantry squad attack, infantry squad attack, and squad attack, right? That is what you are looking for. I would be looking for gold pieces that have 2, at the very least 2 slots. So you're honestly probably not going to find 3. If you find 3, odds are that the gold price on it is pretty insane. I've been able to find pieces like this that have 2, infantry squad attacks or infantry squad attack and squad attack or that kind of a thing in the 1,000 to 2,000 or 2,500 gold range, so 10 to 25 bucks. And once you have those pieces, those tones themselves, or those attributes, basically, those specialized attributes, can be of any value. They can be purple, they can be gold, they can be red, they can be blue, green, doesn't really matter what it is. Because what we're going to do after we have 4 pieces, that's going to be your first goal, is have 4 legendary pieces, ideally, that have 2 of those specialized attributes that you're chasing. Because the other part of the process that we're going to be using is the smelt side of things. And what you will do at that point And again, I'm going to show you how this all ties into the selling side of things and how you can sell what items you're crafting to players like this. What you will do is I would approach this the same way. If you've seen my armaments and honing guide, is I would target the lowest value stat that you have out of all of these. And I've already done that on most of them, but I've kind of left this here for example's sake. So in infantry squad attack 1.9 is the lowest attack that I have out of the 8 values on this for specialized attributes. And what I would do at that point is, once you have the pieces that you want in your place, go back to the auction house, and we know that that was a helmet that has that. It's going to be legendary, because in order to do the smelting, let me just show you where all this information is accessible from. When you do the smelting, you need to have squad equipment of the same grade and part as the original equipment can be used for smelting. That means that we need a legendary helmet in order to do the smelting side of things. Now, we are looking for infantry squad attack, and my value is 1.9. So what I would do is I would go to helmets, legendaries, doesn't matter on the basic attributes. We're looking for infantry squad attack, and we're looking for 1.9. So ideally we'd like to have purple, gold, or red. There could be some blue in there, but just for example's sake, we'll go purple. Sort by price to where it's lowest, and you'll see here infantry squad attack 2.4, infantry squad attack 2.5, 2.9, 2.5, right? So for example's sake, I'm just going to go ahead and buy a couple of these. 2.4, resort by price, 2.9, maybe since we're up in the 1,000 gold, we'll see if we can grab one in the 3% range. I've already bought a few, so you'll see in a second. I'll just maybe even grab this one. 3.4, 2.5, 2.9, 2.3. Yeah, we'll just grab this one. Now also, when you're looking for those pieces that go in each of those slots, one thing that I would point out is that if possible, I would find ones that have this type of a symbol there. It can say exquisite. It can say things like simple. I believe I have one of those. Let me see. Yeah, simple, exquisite. So simple reduces the number of materials needed for enhancements. And what that means is that if you go here to the enhanced side of things and you're using these pieces that you get from dismantling to enhance them, it'll use less. You can get some like Lucky, I believe, is one of them that I had, where when you do the actual smelting process, or the enhancement process, or sorry, the smelting process, it comes out with better quality. So more often when you're doing the smelting and the combining mode I'm about to show you, you'll actually get better values, things like that. So yeah, Lucky improves the smelting effect itself. Lucky Exquisite increases the number of enhancement materials when dismantling, which there is use cases for and such. But yeah, what I'm getting at is that if you can find gold pieces or legendary pieces for a lower price that have your stats that you were chasing and those right there, that's just obviously ideal. So just one thing to bear in mind. But let's go to the actual next step here in the process, which is the actual smelting factor, right? So we bought a few pieces here, and I had also another few pieces already bought. What we looked at was we were looking for infantry attack pieces to go on ahead and increase this part. And again, this is why it doesn't matter if when you're looking for pieces that have squad attack and infantry attack, like in my case, it doesn't matter if they start out as green. You're not looking for a piece that has all purples. If it does, great. You know, it's less that you need to use, but odds are you're going to be spending more up front. So you can chase the green or the blue values and then do this smelting process and just get other pieces to do this. So we're at 1.9%, and what I will do is I will use the lowest values that I have to then go ahead and try to close the gap. Now, if I take this 2.4%, you'll see that it goes 1.9 to 2.4%. What that means is that when I go to smelt this, it's going to take this piece here, this other golden legendary that I purchased, and it's going to destroy it. But it's going to take that 2.4% attack, and it's going to apply it to my 1.9% attack here. And I have a chance, when I hit smelt here, to land a value between 1.9 to 2.4. Let's see what we get. We got 2.1, all right? So we went up 0.2%. So we have another 2.4. Let's go ahead and use that. Now we're 2.2, hopefully 2.4 here. Of course not. 2.3. We'll go up to the next 2.9. So now we're going to be able to destroy this and get anywhere from 2.3 to 2.9. We got pretty lucky there, actually. Went up to 2.8. Go to 3.2. That one was unlucky. And now at 3, right? So now we're at 3%. So this went from 1.8 to 3%. And obviously, you know, if you went through those 6 pieces or whatever, and you spent 500 gold on each, you're spent $30 or whatever have you for that, you know, few percent points gain. But the point is that this would be something that happens over time. I'm kind of showing you a process that's an elongated process, very shortened down for those that are spenders, or maybe you've already spent some. Maybe this is a couple months down the road or a couple weeks down the road, and you managed to craft some pieces and been able to buy some pieces that you can use to upgrade. This is kind of an elongated process, just really sped up for you, for example's sake. So now what I would do is I would go here, I'd say, okay, I have 2.8, 3%, 2.9, 3, 3.1, 3.4, 3.4, 5.2. Like I'm pretty okay there, right? The other side of things that you can do at this point then is that for the other pieces that maybe you're dismantling, so maybe as you're smithing stuff, you've got some blues, some greens, stuff like that you're not really planning on using because you're targeting purples or specifically legendaries. You can be dismantling these, and then from there going into these actual other pieces, and you can use your enhance process to then go on ahead and boost your basic attribute stats. So in this case here, I will probably do the, I don't know if I have enough to do this one. I actually do, but let's see. Yeah, I mean, we'll just do this for argument's sake. So just enhance this a couple times. There we go. Now, between the upgrades that we did to this 1.8, getting it up to 3%, a little bit here as well, we are now up to 29.8, or just under 30% attack as well. So we got a little bit of gains. A lot of these values for me were blue or green, and again, I kind of went through it testing this, and left one of the values as blue just for argument's sake. Now, that is the buying process and the upgrading process. Now, what do you do as somebody that is selling items? Like somebody that is crafting from the refinery side, and you're getting these, and hold on, I have to help out an alliance member here. So let's just say that, like, you know, you're crafting these in the refinery process, and you're crafting some items. What is it that you should be looking for, and what should you be doing? Well, there's 2 pieces that you should be looking for, or 2 types of pieces when it comes to this equipment that you should be looking for, and that really dictates the type of price that you're going to be able to sell it for. For one, people that are doing exactly what I'm doing here, we're going to be looking for pieces that have, say, like double attack, or an infantry attack and defense, or maybe a rider and a like right here, right? This is like a double squad defense. We'll use this one actually. This is a really good example. So let's say, for example, that you crafted this infantry squad attack plus infantry squad damage, or double squad defense, that kind of a thing. These are the pieces that you want to sell, which would be good base pieces or foundational pieces for any player to use. These will be pieces that are sought after. The whales, they'll be searching for pieces that have, say, infantry attack, and infantry squad damage. If you manage to land something like that, you have landed a whales item, and you will be wanting to sell that for a large sum of money. The pieces that you can sell for not nearly as much money, but a decent amount, would be the pieces that have double of basically a good combat stat, where the basic attribute is also applicable. You don't want to have a stat up here at the top that's like basic attack damage on zombies, zombie kill XP, plus these 2 things, because that's kind of a mismatch, right? Like ideally you're looking for pieces that apply to combat up here, like squad attack, skill damage, plus 2 cohesive stats down here in the specialized attributes. That would be a good piece that players will be searching after to use as their foundational pieces in the slots. And then from there, the other side of pieces that you'll be looking to sell is the same pieces that we were just purchasing. So if I'm somebody that is doing infantry squad attack, but somebody else, for example, is doing ranged attack or whatever have you, rider attack, like this right here is a solid 2.4. Even though these other stats are mismatched, they still need legendary weapons to upgrade these specialized attributes and the stats that they have themselves. So what I would say is that if you're looking to sell an individual independent stat item, it would sell for less, 500 gold, maybe 900 gold, or 1,000 gold if you have something on the higher range of the values themselves. Look for attack, defense, damage pieces, or damage attributes and such that are in the purple or gold range. That's what you should be looking for here, specifically on gold items, and sell those. Your high ticket items that you'll be selling are the ones that have, again, combat attributes and the basic attributes, and then 2 combat stats that synergize well in the specialized attributes as well. Those are the pieces that would sell for more. So that's just a brief overview of the stats themselves that you'll be looking for and the pieces that you'll be looking for to craft as somebody that is either a spender or a free-to-play player, low spender, whatever have you, to earn yourself a little bit more gold. And how can you use that gold from a buying standpoint to then take the gold that you are earning and turn that into stats that work very well for your account. Like I said, I was able to target and hit 30% infantry squad attack for a very, very low amount just off of the simple fact of targeting stats once I had 4 base pieces. So this kind of wraps this up. I know that there's probably more in-depth and stuff that players would want me to do with this. If you do have additional questions and such, please leave those in the comments down below. I'm happy to answer them there. It's just very difficult for me to talk right now as I can't breathe through my nose. So I'm having to breathe through my mouth and try to talk at the same time. And I'm sure you could probably tell I'm kind of struggling with that right now. So yeah, no, again, I appreciate you all. I appreciate the support you guys have given to this channel. I hope this video helps you out a bit from a buying and selling standpoint and how you can utilize the auction house for your account to benefit. I hope that you are all able to make some gold and turn that gold into some stats for your account. And again, any questions, please feel free to leave them below, and I'm happy to answer those via chat. And I will see you guys soon in the next one. Thanks so much. Peace.